This is the former Sears store at Chesterfield Mall in Chesterfield, Missouri. This store opened up in 1976 and closed down in late 2018. I visited this store multiple times when it was open, and it is sad to see it all closed and empty. The store has been closed for about 2 years now, and I was recently given the opportunity to go back inside of this store and take a look around and see what it looks like now. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we are inside of the store on the first floor in the southwest corner, and obviously there's nothing in here anymore. It's completely empty. This here is the entrance that's on the west side of the building, entrance B, and lots of leaves have blown in underneath the doors. Up here along the northwest side of the store, there are a few doors that lead back behind into a little storage area. Well, I shouldn't say little storage area. This is a very long storage area, but it's narrow. There's all these wooden shelves in here, obviously with nothing on them. And looking the other way, you'll notice how long this storage area is. It goes all the way down to pretty much where the entrance to the mall would be. As we approach the end of this little storage area, we'll notice this little door kind of up a little bit, along with some electrical panels. And this little room up here is actually a former display area. So the hole that you see right there went out into the mall, and then the store could put whatever products they wanted in here for anyone out in the mall to see. There's still some of the original lighting in here. So this was kind of interesting, as I didn't know this was here. So back out here into the store, we have this little desk over here, which I believe was one of the checkout counters. And it's actually a lot shorter than I remember. And I guess that's because there's not a bunch of computers and other equipment on here. Coming over here to the escalators, these escalators are still original from when they were installed in 1975. These are Westinghouse escalators. Haven't been modernized or altered. You can see down here there's the original Westinghouse logo. Walking around to the other escalator, we get a glimpse into the other side of the store that's actually currently occupied by a small business. That's where the tool department used to be. And on this side, we can see the other escalator, but before we look at that, I noticed this door was open, and this goes underneath the escalators. You can't actually see into the escalators from underneath here, and that's a good thing. You wouldn't want to hurt yourself being underneath here with them running. But this space was mainly used for storing extra escalator parts and other things that may be needed in case the escalators broke. Over here being one of the devices, this is a little tool to control the escalator, and then a big box full of extra parts. Back out into the store, we can get a look at the other escalator. Again, it is a Westinghouse, and it's just like the other one. And over here we have a view out into the very dead mall. Over in the distance you can see the passenger elevator, but back over here we have the old electronics department. Also in this area we have a little back room here, and there is a very noisy device in here. This is also how you would access the other display case. So like we saw on the other side, here's another display case where more items would have been placed. And back here in the corner, we have yet another storage area. This one looks similar to the other storage area we saw, but this one has this large device here, and I'm pretty sure this is what would play all the TVs. So when you were in the electronics department, you saw the TVs playing the same thing. I'm pretty sure this is what was driving those. Taking a closer look at the walls on the sales floor, you'll notice these boxes, and this is where you would hook your TVs into for the data, along with some power for the TVs. And if you look closely, you'll see these boxes and power ports all the way around the electronics department. Moving on back to this area of the east side of the store, this is where I believe some of the different services this store offered were hosted. I'm not sure what this area was for, but the floor appears to have been taken off and it's really sticky, but there's 3 small rooms. This next portion is what I believe was the optical area. This is where you could get glasses and those sorts of things. We have a couple of small rooms back here. This one has the little window, a little sink, and then further back in here, yet another sink and a few cabinets. Over here we have one more room with a bunch of cabinets and another sink. Back over here we have the tax service, and also an emergency exit, which just leads to a stairwell. Something kind of interesting though is that tax service sign is one of the only original Sears signs still in the store. Going into the tax service room, there's just a whole lot of nothing. Just a big open room. There is this small back room over here with a little table. And then a bunch of data and phone lines. There's one more area back here in this corner, and that's this section, and I believe this was a portrait studio. I'm not 100% sure if this store had it. I know other Sears stores did, never really came back into this part of the store, but these rooms here are kind of why I believe this. This device here definitely looks like something you would see in a portrait studio. Your lights and a backdrop. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but that definitely is what I'm thinking here. Making our way back out into the store, we come over here to this end where we have the entrance to the stockroom along with the bathrooms. But just around this corner, we have the passenger elevator, along with the drinking fountains that don't work. This elevator is a Westinghouse from 1975 that got a modernization, and you can see the lights are still on in the cab, but it has an oil leak. So the cab has sunk below the floor, making it where the interlock has reset, so I can't get the doors open and we don't get to see inside. So it just kind of sits here down in the pit, which is kind of unfortunate. Over here by the bathrooms, we have this little closet, which looks like it should be the elevator machine room, but guess what? It's not. It's just a blank room. I'm not sure what they had in here, but obviously it's not elevator equipment. Over here by the other bathroom, we have another little access door. This is a very narrow door. But back behind here, we have an access space for a bunch of different pipes. My guess is for the bathrooms. And now back through these doors into the stock room. And this is where all the stuff that the store received would be stored, and we wait to get put out onto the sales floor. You can see here that there's actually a lot of stuff in here right now, and I believe this is being used for storage for something else. Over here we just have a janitor's closet, appears to be. Not really a whole lot in here. Yeah, there's some Schindler maintenance signs. Here we've got a door that leads back out onto the sales floor. This is kind of just a little side door. Further walking into the stockroom, we can find the freight elevator. Now this freight elevator is a Westinghouse installed in 1975. You can see here it's your typical freight style of elevator with your vertical opening doors. These are Corian doors. They have Westinghouse AE fixtures. We got the black buttons for the doors, and then just regular AE for the calls. And there's even an indicator on top. Taking a look into the shaft, you can see it's just a typical hydraulic elevator, and the cab is up on the second floor, so we'll get to see that later. Back over there we have the loading dock, and we'll get back to that in a little bit. Over here we have this office area, which you can see there's access to the loading dock. And going through these doors, you see we have a more typical style entrance for the Sears. There's one of the main entrances over there, and then we also have this doorway that goes into the Human Resources office. Obviously there's no office actually in here, it's very empty. Also, check out this cool old fire alarm. And back in here we have a lot of electronics. And something else, look at this, we have a Sears floppy disk. Now that's old. And going back over to the other side that we didn't explore before, you can see there's all kinds of random stuff in here. And again, I think this is being used for a storage facility of some sort. So there's definitely a lot of room back here for just general storage, and obviously the storage of the items that would be here at Sears. And here we go into the loading dock, and you can see all the garage doors where the trucks would pull in. Also back over here we have a stairwell which goes to the upstairs stockroom. Going back through these doors over by Human Resources, we can get back into the main store area along with one of the other entrances here on the south side of the store. Also back over here there's another little closet with a bunch of electrical panels. And we've pretty much covered all of the first floor, so now let's head upstairs and see what's going on up there. Unlike the elevators, we can use the escalators when they're switched off. So up here was mainly where all the clothing was, so there's a lot of fitting rooms and those sorts of things up on the second floor. And over here we have the first fitting room. And again, up here on the second floor, we have the entrance to the mall. And then back over here, we have yet more area where clothing was displayed, and another fitting room. Over here, we have yet another fitting room. And here's another one of those little checkout counters. Up here is the only entrance from the second floor, entrance P. And now we're going to head into the stock room up on the second floor. And this one's a lot darker. There's nothing up here. And that makes sense because the freight elevator doesn't run. And this stockroom is very large, just like the one downstairs, only it's completely empty and a lot more spooky. Over here you can see that stairwell we saw earlier, and we have this propped open door, which is the machine room for the freight elevator. This is actually one of the things I really wanted to see here. This is a Relay Logic Westinghouse dry power hydraulic unit. Over here is the actual controller. You've got your transformer and your motor starter there. You also have all of the relays for the logic. And then there's actually some microprocessors as well. Here's the oil tank where all the oil is stored. Also here on the side of the controller, before you call for service, make sure you do these things, by Westinghouse Elevator Company. I think that's a cool sticker. Again, there's a view of the tank, and down beneath you can see the actual motor and the pump unit. In this box we have the Corian door controller. This is for the actual doors of the elevator. And back out here in the main stock room, we've got yet another room back here. And then, over here on the front, we have the actual freight elevator. And you can see the upstairs doors are open, and this thing has sunk. It's got EPCO Circle Line buttons on the inside, and again, your AE call buttons on the outside. Here's another partition of the stock room with a bunch of shelves still in it, but we also have over here an electrical room with a lot of very big panels in it. And that's pretty much all there is for the stock room upstairs. However, if we come back out here onto the sales floor, you'll notice we got a couple more doors straight ahead. And I'm mainly interested on that one on the right, because I see a little lockbox up on the door. And that's right, that's another machine room. And this is where the machine room is for the passenger elevator. And my goodness, look at all those towels on the floor. And like I was saying before, there was an oil leak with this thing, and that's why they put it out of service. This machine is very similar to the freight elevator, has the same look, though there are a few differences. Obviously this is a passenger elevator and that is a freight. Again, you can see down below there's the pump unit. And then up here we have the controller, relay logic, and some microprocessor stuff. And back out here into the store again, we can see the elevator up here on the second floor. There's the replaced call button. And obviously we know that elevator has sunk down into the pit. And pretty much everything else that's up on this floor is empty sales space and more fitting rooms. There's the entrance into the stock room, which we just saw. And back over here, there's yet another fitting room. And over here we have the second floor bathrooms. And also up here by the bathrooms we have, yep, you guessed it, more fitting rooms. And also up here we have an emergency exit which has been propped open. There's the stairs over there. So that is going to conclude this tour of this old Sears store. This was definitely an awesome experience to be able to go back and look through this store again and see some of the areas that most people never really did get to see. Hope you guys enjoyed this tour. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.